They said teachers, when they retire, can do only two things: sell old cars or insurance. I have absolutely no other interest. I don't go to any bar. I have no interest in politics. I had a TV, but I never watched. So ultimately, I put it on the garbage where somebody should take it. I never go to see hockey games. I have no idea who wins and why somebody loses. It doesn't make me any difference. To other people, I'm not normal. Something is wrong. Something is missing in the brain. Because normal people do normal things. I retired in 1988. I have no other meaning in existence. Teaching is the only joyful thing. I retired technically. Come in, darling.
Hi, Mr. Berry.
But I went on teaching. Of course he can. When you're enjoying your life, why would you leave it? But British people don't write CSC. If it's a British book, it will see you. So that's my nutshell, and you can ask questions and I'll answer you. Common denominator.
Yeah.
Over cos theta. 1 minus cos theta. So you had 1 minus cos theta.
I think I heard about him through my sister.
You follow me?
I thought, I don't have a tutor right now, so I should start looking for one because math was starting to get hard.
Yeah, I was kind of nervous just from what I heard.
So you'd hear things about him smacking a ruler on the table to get people's attention.
She said that he's an eccentric guy who likes marching to army music.
Be prepared to meet someone who thinks like no one else you've ever met before.
You know, you see this older guy who's got his, you know, his hair's kind of all out of sorts and his shirt's like half tucked in and he's kind of just, he's like crazy looking.
I don't know, he reminds me of like a wizard, mad scientist.
So all I would see was this Indian Einstein character walking around the halls.
He looks like Einstein.
Albert Einstein.
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 Could think of like Einstein without the mustache, but with a tan. First, I didn't know what to think. Mr. Berry is a different kind of a person. I've never met a person like that before.
I thought he was gonna be younger.
He's gotta be in his 90s. I have no clue how old he actually is.
You know, he would have the movements of an older person, but there would be moments where I'd see him where it would be, say, catching the bus, where he could move like that, and you just see this spryness in him.
Mr. Berry was my high school teacher in grade 11 and 12. I think he was teaching for almost no pay. Like, he chose not to be paid. Just that rumor, I think for a lot of the high school kids, really made them think. Like, why would he be here? Why is he teaching math and not even getting paid?
My dad was a lawyer and he was quite happy. He started practicing at 24, but he was married when he was 19 and my mom was 17. So it was a happy life. All the emphasis in the house was being top student in the classroom. I had a friend, only one in my life, and we decided in grade 3 that we will become doctors. We decided which area we will specialize. We decided what girls we will marry and which area they should specialize. And then we will have our own clinic, 4 of us, and run our own medical institution. One day, about 6 o'clock in the evening, phone rang. So I picked up the phone. He said, come right away, take your bicycle. I've killed a puppy. I took my bicycle. That ended my medical career. I couldn't see the sight of blood. I had to drag my bicycle home and told my parents, I'm very sorry, I'm changing my mind. I don't want to go for medicine. Okay, I became teacher in 1955 because I had teachers and I liked them very much. They were from Scotland. They were the happiest people I've seen in my life. They didn't come for money. You know, what a beautiful life when teaching is the end and the other things are not important. To start teaching was still in my memory the most enjoyable experience in my existence. Going to a college to teach, go to another college to teach, go to another college to teach. So many students a day you see answer their questions, and I was very young myself. Then I came to Canada and I taught there 60 to 88. Then I retired, moved to BC. But all these years I've been teaching full-time, non-stop. It's not tiring at all. It's a joyful thing. Secant is 1 hour sine, secant is 1 hour cotangent 1 hour. So sweet.
When you're being taught by Mr. Barry, the answers just make sense. Like, I don't know what he does differently that other tutors don't do or what I was missing in my high school math class, but with Mr. Barry, the answers just came into my head.
It was an art. It was just a way of teaching that I think few kids ever get to experience.
Now, finish the last line. Teaching is not necessarily knowing the subject. You need a different kind of a person who knows the subject, also knows how to teach it. They're two different things.
Within those first 5 minutes, he's kind of like reassessing where you're at.
Yeah, he was able to just pick out exactly the way I needed to learn.
Writing it out 4 different ways. Which one do you get? That one. So he would circle it and then elaborate on it on another piece of paper, like just continuous.
It had like a flow to whatever he was talking about. It was, to me, it was always like he had a magic wand.
I have to plan for each child, and also I have to find out why that child is not doing well.
Most of the time he would just write X, like a big X, and then just make me do it again. But other times, like, I'd get the same thing wrong and he'd get so frustrated.
Do you want to know why majority of them are not doing well?
So lots of practice, like his law kind of is like math, you just have to practice.
In this town, do you know how many institutions are there where you go and jump up and down to keep healthy? Every street has 1 or 2. We totally ignore that we have got a brain too. It needs exercise too.
He'd always ask, do you want a sweet or savory snack? And then you get to choose, so that's like, makes you feel comfortable because like, what if you just ate McDonald's, so you'd want something sweet?
He's always so insistent on eat the cookies.
If I say no, he'll be like, are you sure?
Have a cookie, sweetie. Have a cookie. Just have a cookie. Are you sure you don't want a cookie?
No, you should have some. You should have some, darling.
You don't really have a choice. You have to eat the cookies or else you just...
More than one.
You won't get the answers right. He says he can't teach without tea because tea is in the word teach.
So to this day, every time I drink or smell red rose tea, I think of doing math.
If emotionally you are not liking the teacher, you won't learn. And it's always in my mind that I'm very kind to this child. The child feels comfortable. And that is why I provide food.
tea, cookies, math. That was it.
When I'm not teaching, I'm clinically depressed. Since you are enjoying teaching, now you are missing it. So consequently, when you are not doing it, you do feel down and you feel meaningless. You think your existence is not useful, subconsciously, You feel you are lonely, but you try to dodge your brain. You start thinking of positive things. So you try to change your mind to get that loneliness out of your brain. I wish I could be just teaching all the time. That student is not only a student, but he or she is giving me company. Did you follow my point? So I've got company and I'm quite happy. And that whatever personal pains are, they leave you alone.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever met anyone that's so committed to one thing.
Even though he is like a character, I never really got a sense of what brought him to that point.
He doesn't go into detail about his parents or much about his family.
His story, may be completely different than we may think, but I'm sure he has one.
I always wondered, because there's so much knowledge inside, there's so much experience there, and so with that comes stories.
It was a small town and there were various religions. People were Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, Christians. And the one thing that struck you very painful, that they all hated each other. Muslims will live together, Hindus will live together, Sikhs will live together, Christians in their own communities. In 1947, society as a whole was divided into different parts. They decided to kill anybody in that town who didn't belong to the major religion. So they burned all the buildings, they burned the banks, and they came and killed people. You could hear the screams. There was nothing. We had no guns or anything. So we sat down in the living room, waiting for them to come and kill us. The most difficult part was looking into the eyes of your mother. The only thing that happened to your mind is you wonder if there is a God. We knew they will come. It was now 2 o'clock. They were still busy burning house and killing people. I think they got tired and decided to come next day. So next day, Dad checked, we had half tank full. We did not take anything, whatever clothes we were wearing, and we drove on the road. There was a crowd about 5,000 to 10,000 people who did not get killed, but their relatives got killed. They were walking like zombies. Police came and told us to follow them. They put us in a big camp. They gave you water and bread, and we slept on the ground. One thing happened one night. There was a huge noise. They stopped a train, which was just a few kilometers from the camp, and they killed everybody in the train. You heard the screams? Then it was all silence. It didn't make any difference to the birds, to the cows grazing outside. or to the ants, but as the human beings. They had killed everybody in the train. So as an individual, I did ask this question, why are people, after so many religions we have created, still ended up killing one another? Not that I'm not saying they don't God, but at that moment, under that stress, you had a home, your parents were the Jew, your neighbors were the Jew, and at that time you even liked girls, and they were killed. And you start losing meaning in existence, and that thing struck me. Is there a God? Where is God? 10 days after, Dad said nobody had seen that he had driven the car in the camp. They don't even know outside there's a car. So he said at 4 o'clock they changed the guard. I'm going to drive out. There were trucks changing the guards, and Dad followed them, and the man at the door saluted him. He thought it was their army officer in civilian clothes. So we drove away and stopped at a place and ate cookies. Do you know, cookies have never tasted the same in my lifetime. When after eating bread and water, you could feel the sugar, its passage through your body, and your tips of fingers and toes twinkle because of sugar going in. You can smell freedom. The air smelled different, and plants smelled very beautiful because you thought you were safe now. You will be astonished to note human mind is very funny. It tries to forget which is painful when you get well. It does come in the dreams only. That tragedy and then being alive when you are in a situation you didn't know whether you will be living tonight or next day or not. The fact it was painful stays. The memory is there. In dreams sometimes it bothers you, but otherwise you have accepted the truth. How painful life could have been for you. But when you have gone through that experience, your enjoyment of existing properly is a great thing, which doesn't occur to you if you are not gone through those, because there is no contrast then. Your view of life, view of existence changes a lot. You can appreciate, am I not lucky that I'm doing what I wanted to do? I'm not tired of teaching after so many years. Why? Because what was the contrast? What could have happened to me? Now students come to me, they are all children. I love them the same way. It doesn't make me any difference what their religion is and what religion their parents. It doesn't make me any difference whatsoever. I found math doesn't matter where you live on the planet. You study the same, you follow the same formulas. At least it gives you an idea to a child that there is a unity. We are not different. This is exactly the same laws, whether you are a Russian or a Japanese or a French. The whole idea was they should start feeling that we are one species on one planet. We could have single philosophy of life instead of butchering each other and differing each other.
it's more than just math. Like, he does love math. He's a genius. Like, that's for sure. But it goes deeper than that. I do think that it's the impacts that he makes on students.
What you do is almost subconsciously learn things that he did and potentially learn that idea of patience or hospitality and helping people find success rather than just expecting that they should be successful.
Someone like Mr. Barry honestly could have been, working on Wall Street, or he could be a guy that's helping the Department of Defense with, rockets or finding some, new aerospace development. But instead, he's putting a lot of his talent and energy into helping kids, youth, people that, otherwise wouldn't have access to someone like him.
His passion for what he does inspires me to find something that I love as much as he does. I mean, I don't imagine that I'll ever love math as much as him, but definitely I want to find something.
He definitely treats people like they matter.
He helps you be happier, and be proud of what you've done.
I brought this. I ended up getting what was, to me, one of my biggest accomplishments is a transcript. That's one of my most proud moments as a student. It was an A+ in calculus, and that's something that I would not have earned without the help of Mr. Barry.
Even though I'm not needing his services anymore, I still come and visit him every month, every 2 months. I like to catch up with him. He's like a friend to me now.
I hope there's somebody like Mr. Barry when I have kids. He's pretty one-of-a-kind man, and I don't think there's going to be somebody just like him.
Yeah, I think that he is a confidence builder for a lot of things. It's kind of funny. Kind of funny to think about it that way. Because I wouldn't have done math in university if it wasn't for him. Or at least I wouldn't have made it through the way I did, because the first semester was like a killer for me, and I just I can't do this. He's one of those people that can just instill confidence in you that, oh no, this is not too hard for you. You can do it. This is not too hard for you. You can do it. It's easy. That's a huge thing, I think, for a lot of people.
In 2018 March, I started realizing if I walked a little bit, I was short of breath. I had to sit down and take rest. To the extent that going from here to kitchen, I had to take rest. Going from here to bedroom, I was tired. So my doctor referred me to a heart specialist. The heart specialist made arrangement that I should be tested. So they tested me. They told me my heart is in bad condition. It needs open surgery. They told me at my age it is dangerous, but there is no alternative. They did the operation 1st of June 2018. With this surgery, you become totally weak, extremely. It is difficult for you to stand up when you're sitting. You cannot walk. You cannot dress yourself. You totally become invalid after that, dependent on others for your existence. And they wanted me to stay in hospital for my health. They told me they will give me some medicine so that I don't feel depressed. I told them, no, I don't need medicine. I want to go and teach. He said, you can't leave. I said, I'm leaving. I left. I came home 11:30, phoned my student, started teaching at 12. And I'm still teaching and they're coming. And I'm getting well, but very slowly. And I don't think any medicine would have helped me in teaching. If I cannot teach, I think I'll lose all the meaning in existence. So most probably I'll die. So I depend upon my students for my mental health and happiness. Then they depend on me in their mind, and they don't know it. I tell them they're very important to me. I owe my life now and joy to my students. The lady said, "How many children do you have got?" I said, "More than 100,000. She said, "You got more than 100,000? Yeah." I said, "I taught more than 100,000 children, and they were all my children."
Thank you, Mr. Barry, for being the best tutor I've ever had.
Thank you for being there and helping to, translate the language of calculus. I don't think I would have actually done great in that class, or maybe I would have struggled for the rest of my undergrad because of that. So definitely thank you for helping me out.
Thank you so much for all that you do for everyone that walks in your home.
Really appreciate all the lessons and the cookies and the tea.
Thank you, Mr. Barry, for everything that you have helped me with.
I don't think you realize how much you've impacted people's lives in your career.
Mr. Barry, I just want you to know there's a special place in my heart for you. There always has been since I was fortunate enough to meet you. I think most importantly, you helped me to enjoy the fun things in life and be someone that's in that moment.
I want to say that I love you and that I've never had anybody genuinely care so much about me. Mr. Barry, you inspired me to pursue a career in law, and that's something that I never, ever would have even considered if it wasn't for you.
Thank you for being a friend and for instilling confidence in me.
Being there for somebody to talk to and encouraging me to do so well in school. Thank you so much. Love you.
Keep doing what you're doing and enjoy tutoring every student from now and forever.
Mr. Barry has helped not only my children, but possibly even the flow of the community.
I have lived a very happy life, very contented life, very joyful life, and I have done number of years which two teachers will do. Generally they retire after 25 or 30 years. I have done 65 years. So I have lived two lives instead of one. But I don't think that when I'm gone, it says something has happened. Life will go on, teachers will be there, teaching system might change, even whole life could change. But I'm not that important. I'm sure there must be lots of good teachers all over the world. I'm just an ordinary one. Children come and I teach, and that's it. I was lying down there, nice grass. There was a eucalyptus tree behind it with beautiful white skin, and a cuckoo bird was singing. And I was thinking, we call that cuckoo birds. Actually, do you know how do they raise their little ones? Mrs. Cuckoo goes to a crow's nest, teases her. When the mother runs outside, she gets in, lays the eggs, and then fly to Australia for a holiday. So Mrs. Crow doesn't know math. She didn't know she had only 2 eggs. Now she has 4, but she sits on all 4. When the cuckoo birds grow up, they throw the crow babies out and live there. Then their holidays as the parent is over, they come and pick up the children. And we call them cuckoo birds. Anyway, I was thinking then everybody yelling and screaming.